Welcome. In this video, we're going to do an end-to-end ticket process using Autoflow and Tekmetric. We really value this integration. We believe it to be a world-class integration, and I want to show you that seamless experience from the check-in portion of a ticket all the way to the point where we're closing it. That's going to include inspections, it's going to include work order, it could even include quality control. The main objective of this video is to touch on all of the high points of the integration and demonstrate a process that works brilliantly with the Tekmetric shop management system. I hope you enjoy. Let's dive in. I think the best place to start any ticket is from an appointment, and the integration with Autoflow and Tekmetric is so good. By the time you're seeing this video, we'll have the newest feature released where when you make an appointment in Autoflow, it will be able to put the appointment inside of Tekmetric, and we already have it where the appointment made in Tekmetric automatically goes into Autoflow. It's very simple. You make the appointment, it goes into our system. We send that appointment confirmation text immediately. We also send an automatic 24-hour reminder, and we can handle a confirmation sequence as well. This actually is the beginning of the dialogue that you can have with your customer. The key is how we check in that ticket. Even though this is a two-way integration, it's very tempting to just want to hit check in here. My advice right now is do it this way. Go inside of Tekmetric and create that repair order from the appointment. And this is key so we don't end up with duplications. Create that repair order. If there's any changes we need, go ahead and do that. That was made in my appointment already. This will be key as that does go into my reason the vehicles here inside of Autoflow. You'll see that momentarily. When I hit create repair order, it does not, in my setup, change anything just yet. I have things structured in such a way that we ignore the statuses that are in that estimate category inside of Tekmetric. We focus on the work in progress element. That means that even though I have that ticket started in Tekmetric, it still hangs out as an appointment here inside of Autoflow. And I'm going to show you why you should agree with that being a method. Really, the question is this: is there ever a time where you do not have something approved on a ticket when that customer is handing you the keys? It might be a courtesy inspection, it could be anything. Either way, something must be approved on this ticket. I like this method a great deal, and it also keeps me from having any clutter in that estimate column and know for sure everything in work in progress is in my shop. So I'm just going to add, to prove the point, a $0 courtesy inspection. And we're going to authorize this very simply right inside of Tekmetric. You could have the customer do this as well through their approval forms. I like to do this right there while the customer is at the counter. Say, hey, Mr. Client, we're checking in your vehicle. You should have a text from me right now. That check-in text, you see that ding on their phone? Absolutely perfect. Go ahead and reply to that. We will see any message right here on our screen. This is the best way to communicate with us through the day. Simple as that, folks. This is exactly where I want to be at this check-in portion. Now, step 2 is we need to dispatch this to a technician. We need to get this moving through our work order, our workflow, and we want to make sure that we do assign this appropriately. Notice I did not assign a technician here inside of Tekmetric. Not at the high level ticket, not at the job level either. And I did that on purpose. Although if you do and your users are mapped in Autoflow, it will translate directly into Autoflow as that user mapping is fully integrated. I want to show you the best way to do dispatching, and we do that straight through TechFlow. TechFlow is the spot to go. Now, on this upper left, you'll notice this expands out and my unassigned work is right here. So I'm just going to take Joe Pluka. I'm going to drag him over as priority number 1 for my technician Lee. And then I'm going to take May Be Done and I'm going to put her as priority number 2. And that is very simple to change later on as we drag it across columns very effectively here. If I wanted to change, I can. And we can do that all day long. Now with that done, you're going to notice that I have technicians now on the assignments for each of those tickets. And if I go back into Tekmetric and I refresh that view, the moment I made that change inside of Autoflow, that updates Tekmetric. You're going to see it at the high level piece right here and at the job level. You can change job level, you can change ticket level, all through Autoflow. That is dispatching. Now, for the next step, we're going to cut over to a technician view and show you how some of the automation works with this piece. Now for this step, I want to show you a technician's tablet here. So this is going to be our technician Lee Vittoff. You're going to notice that his jobs are already sorted by priority. That is my recommended sort preference. when I have technicians starting out in the system for the first time, especially when you have a disciplined service advisor staff that's making sure they're laying things out very clearly in TechFlow. Since technicians are operating their inspections and working almost entirely inside of Autoflow, this is what we want them to be able to see instead of stacking papers on that clipboard. Now, with this piece, I want to just simply open up that digital vehicle inspection. You can start in a work order, you can do other sheets as well, but that main worksheet we do when the vehicle's in that check-in status, as you'll see in our service advisor view behind us, that is where we begin, the DVI. This is going to move it to the inspection process. The moment I make a click and start saving data inside of here, it could be anything from adding the mileage to any other input that I do. The moment something is saved here, that will automatically, you see it move in that background there, it was on check-in and now it's in that inspection status. It happens automatically by the technician's actions. And it's a very timely update if you have texting enabled for that inspection status as well. That means the customer does receive that text notification that the inspections began on their vehicle. This resets their patience and it is a delightful update. We have a lot of information that'll show you that that is very true. As long as it wasn't 4.5 hours before they got that text, from the moment they handed you the keys, you're in great shape. Either way, updated clients are happier. Now, let's go full screen. I want to show a couple of quick things inside of the DVI. For more information on our DVI, we have plenty of training videos. I'm going to be very brief in here. I want to highlight a couple things, and I'm going to refresh this so we have the same desktop view that we're used to as a service advisor, but this is behaviorally identical between technician logins and a service advisor. We're still our technician here, and we're going to acknowledge the reason for the visit. Remember, that came in directly from Tekmetric. Any concern that you have listed as in Tekmetric is going to come into what we call the RVH, the reason the vehicle's here. And this is fun because later on, as we do our inspection, we'll click on a couple of different things here. I'm going to choose just a few things inside of our DVI. I'm going to say fair condition on the transmission fluid. I have automatic recommendations canned and ready to go. We have MotoVisuals videos ready to educate our customer on these things. And of course, I can add pictures and videos on this. I'll do this directly from file here. We'll grab a nice actual dipstick picture and we're good to go. Now, I don't want to go into too much depth here, so I'm just going to click on a few other things. We'll say brake fluid's good. We're going to say that the engine oil is due based on time or mileage. And we'll do a change oil and filter. We could add another image here as well. Might as well. We're going to just do a quick clean inspection here on this demonstration. And let's use a real engine oil stick. There we are. Very nice. And let's click on just a couple additional items here. Let's do it with that reason the vehicle's here. Rattle over bumps. Classic undercar issue. Let's use a sway bar link here. We're going to grab that image and we're going to say, here we are. There's our sway bar link. We have plenty of notes that we can make on these things as well. Let's go ahead and do that. Sway bar, loose, cause of rattle. I can make custom notes on top of my other findings. I can even have my canned findings. Here we go, and we've got red in a picture. And now I'm going to show you what we would do next. I'm just going to call this one good. This is a short and brief inspection. Remember, I'm going to complete this, and it shows me that it's been completed, and we can be done with our technician for now. We'll move that off to another screen and look at what happens for our service advisor. Now, our service advisor gets updated in real time on a number of things, and you're going to notice something else. It's already moved to this estimating status when that technician completed the DVI. So we're moving forward in the workflow through complete automation at this stage. And we also changed the color of that DVI button to really catch the attention of the service advisor. And we have our notifications at that top side here as well. That inspection's been completed. I like to keep notifications as clear as I can. You can click on the DVI here or here as a service advisor. And let's take a look at a few of the things that happen. First and foremost, we have auto push enabled. That means that when that technician finished the DVI, it immediately went into that inspection tab as is into Tekmetric. Now, let's say I want to edit things before that happens. That's okay. What we're going to do is we're going to go in and we're going to make a couple very brief changes as a service advisor here. And let's say, all right, it's due based on time or mileage. That's good. Fair condition here. That's good. Maybe we have something additional we wanted to add to this note here. Loose, boot torn. And bad link, whatever. You can get a lot more creative with your language here. And I just want to demonstrate the point that you can edit a technician's notes. You can have that happen. And we still know what Craig, the advisor, said versus what Leave It Off, our technician, said. Our changelog tracks all of this for you. the main thing I want to demonstrate is that I've made a change here. And if I do make a change, I have to re-push this. Now, before I do, I'm going to do one more thing, and I think this will benefit you in the customer view of the DVI that we provide inside of Autoflow, and that's tagging the reason the vehicle's here items, the main concerns, with what we find in our inspection sheet. These are all the things, red, yellow, or green, that we clicked on. We can now tag things to this concern that are related to that issue, and that's just one thing here. Now, these things are linked here, and it's going to be linked in that customer view, which we will show you shortly. So now that I've done this, I will hit re-push, and yeah, it's been submitted once. Are you sure? Yeah, I want to do that again. Absolutely. And then if I refresh this view, we're going to see that the notes that I edited as a service advisor are all in here. This is key, and please pay attention to this point. What we want to do now is get red and yellow items up here to tech concerns inside of Tekmetric. Folks, this is the best part. It's easy, and it's easy to miss if you didn't catch this piece. All you have to do to make that happen, hit the pencil, hit save, done. Now you can move straight over to your estimate page. You can hit copy to estimate, and all the technician's findings from Autoflow are listed out here for us to do our estimate on. This is a great way to reinforce that 300% rule that we talk about so often. If you've ever tuned into our webinars, please do on our YouTube channel. You will see each one of these pieces is a red or yellow item, and that is a discipline that we must estimate, and we must present these things to the customer. Now, I'm not going to spend a lot of time showing you how to do an estimate in Tekmetric. I'm going to quickly breeze through there here. We're going to fast forward, and we're going to move straight on to the next step. Okay, our estimate is built. Now, what do? We are sitting in a status for estimating in both systems, and we need to now let the customer know what to do on this vehicle. So with your estimate built, this is generally best practice at the time where you're going to want to make sure you share the inspection. So we're going to open up this DVI, and we're sharing this directly from Autoflow. This is a key step, and please do not skip this. We do a lot of things to make sure this happens really smoothly. If you have phone number and email already in Tekmetric, we see those things. We're going to send this by both methods anytime we can. Key button right there, text and email the customer. That is great. Once that's done, this button turns yellow. We want to wait for it to turn green, which it will absolutely do. I've already received that text message on my phone. If I'm going to be Joe Palooka here, I can click on that option here, and there's a view inspection button that I will click on the phone. You will have an opportunity to do this yourself, I hope. And once I've clicked that button turns green, letting us know that the customer has viewed their inspection. Now, I'm going to cheat a little bit here. I want to make sure that we can show you this on the screen. So we're going to open this in a new incognito window. And what the customer is going to see is a view very similar to this. It's actually really slick on the mobile view. It's a lot more condensed. And what we will see is our main concern with the item that directly addresses it, confronts that customer immediately. We can see that item. A better inspection would have a lot more results for us to show. If you have MotoVisuals videos, those are great. They play wonderful videos on educating clients on a number of things. We highly recommend you integrate that. You'll notice it took no effort on the service advisor to link those in. Of course, there's green other items as well. The inspection view is quite great. I encourage you to do a better inspection and play with that a little bit more. The key that I want for service advisors is that once we know the customer's viewed that inspection, we want to give them about 5 to 10 minutes to consume that information. They may call you immediately. That's okay too. But I want to give them that time to digest, and then I move it into this status right here. I call this the waiting on approval status, or jokingly refer to it as the money button, because what we do is we click that, and I usually like a very short timer. You can actually set this up any way you want. I don't need 5 hours. I need 5 minutes. Most texts are viewed within 2 to 3 minutes, and 52% of all people will reply in 1 to 2. So we have a good rate of people calling you almost immediately as soon as you sent this text. What did it say? It's actually saying, "Hello, Joe. Your estimate is ready for approval. Please give us a call or authorize your work here." I have that estimate link built in. In this case, folks, I'm going to give you a best practice though. I'm showing an integration piece here that you can do in the workflow and share that estimate link with Tekmetric. Please don't do that. I don't recommend at all in any circumstance sending an electronic approval form to a customer until we've had our phone call. So I'm demonstrating that it's possible. I understand some of you prefer to do it this way, but I will put my 2 cents in here. This is my video. I will say don't send that electronic approval until that phone call happens. Follow up with that electronic approval after the phone call has resulted in the things that the customer tells you they want, and make sure that electronic approval represents that. Otherwise, you're leaving customers trying to make too many decisions on their own without your counsel as a service counselor, without your advice as a service advisor. So please bear that in mind. The cool thing about this is, folks, you don't have to worry about calling people and leaving a voicemail for the 10,000th time of your career, listening to the voicemail lady telling you how to leave a voicemail. You can actually just send the text and wait for the call, and it works really, really well. This is going to speed up your approvals when you start using this method. You can look into one of our courses called Art of Advising with DVI, where we talk about this at length and cite other sources such as JD Power, and how dealerships as well are catching on to the fact that customers prefer text updates here and are cited and studied and proven to be happier when this is how we communicate with them on these sort of status updates. This is a lot better than calling and asking if they're sitting down as we go over that estimate. Moving on, we have an approval conversation that takes place. I won't go into all of that course on Art of Advising here, but there's a great methods. The key is, what do we do when we have that approval? I like to make sure we do document the things inside of Autoflow. We have this very neatly organized where you can see just the red and yellow items on here and the things the customer authorizes you to do. Please track that here. This helps us with our follow-ups later on, which also work great with Tekmetric clients. There's a number of things we can do with deferred work, but still, I always say the inspection sheet is the record of truth that we want to use later on. We're going to mark those here. It does not change anything inside of Tekmetric to do this, but what we will be doing inside of Tekmetric is marking these jobs as approved. I still am a big fan of the phone call without an electronic approval form personally. The key I want to drop with you folks is you do not ever need to share that estimate from Tekmetric. Please don't hit any of these buttons. It will confuse that method of communication. We send that link for you another way inside of Autoflow. So if you did want to send Joe Palooka that authorization link, you can use our predefined messages. You'll want to build these out however you want. You can use your own language in these. And I'll say your estimate is ready for review, right? And this is going, that bracketed code gets automatically and programmatically replaced with the link from Tekmetric. And that customer, of course, can be the one to open that up, and they can be the ones to authorize by clicking on approve here. And that is all there is to it. These are all kinds of fun. We'll hit authorize and we're all set. Close that up, and a couple of things happen next. But we do need the service advisor engagement on this piece. So in the job board, we've received the approval for this job. We want to make sure that we move it into one of the next two statuses. For me, that's either we're waiting on parts or we're all set and ready to start working on it. We're waiting on technicians. This is a great way to demonstrate that when I make a status change here in Tekmetric to waiting on parts, we move it automatically here inside of Autoflow as well. We do have some other fun things in here so we can be more specific inside of Autoflow about who we're waiting for and for how long, and that timer will be on that workflow. I love this status, folks, and you don't need it to be parts vendors. You can have it be for any number of reasons you're waiting for something. It's a great tool. That countdown timer is wonderful. Even if you chose a different status, I'll demonstrate here. I want to say, hey, I need more parts. Maybe this is an option that the technician selected and he needs to move backwards in the workflow. This is a great spot to make that change here. And you're going to notice that when I refresh this view here inside of Tekmetric, that should actually, in a second anyway, I'll speed this along. You'll notice that this view here will move to waiting on parts. The two-way integration works wonderfully with that. Now, let's say it's all set. We're ready for that technician to start cranking on this thing. I love making sure our workflow has a key status change for that technician once again. He had a clear handoff at the check-in status. He knew exactly what to do. That is what I'm building into a workflow, and that is what a workflow should be doing for you, is build in key handoffs so that your team knows exactly what they should be doing at any given time. Now, I'm going to move it to the waiting on tech status. And what this does for my technician view, let's go ahead and drag that back over here, our tablet. It should be very neat and clear for this technician what he has going on in his day. He knows that this is waiting on him. He knows this one's waiting on parts. If I had to make some other options and decisions in the bay, this is magic. I know exactly what I need to be doing, and I have a good idea of what probably is coming next. Preloaded technicians work better, and they work faster than if they don't know what's coming. So load them up. Now, what do I do as this technician? First and foremost, I have a couple of other fun things here. I do have notifications at the top. When those work items were approved, the technician's immediately notified. It's because the work order regenerates every time an approval occurs inside of Tekmetric. This is fantastic. I can keep this clear or I can look at those, but it's nice to get those alerts. That isn't true for service advisors. It is true right now for technicians. Now I can go into our digital work order, and you're going to notice that we already have some things completed on here. And let's go full size on this, and let's refresh this to be in desktop mode. You're going to notice that we have several jobs on here. We've already done this one here. We can complete this. I'm not going to go into details of showing you how we can swap technicians around here, but if a different technician was assigned on any of these, it would be grayed out and impossible for this technician, Lee, to click on. But I am going to go ahead and mark these complete and demonstrate for you really quickly that as I mark those complete, we are updating that ticket in the work in progress screen inside of Tekmetric, and we do as well go along with that tracked time. You're going to see that is very, very accurate, and it's very, very timely. So when I do these clicks and I hit complete, we hit refresh over here, we're going to get the data over here as well. Now, as I go through this, I'm going to mark these jobs done. We can do some other things. We can add pictures, videos, and notes inside of this. We show you all sorts of details on when things are added to the work order. This is a pretty fun place. I'm not going to spend a ton of time because we can review this in other places, but this is fun here. When I hit submit, something occurs. Notice that this vehicle actually would have gone automatically into servicing. I neglected to show you that just a moment ago, but it does move automatically into servicing if you want it to. When the technician clicks in on a job. And in this case, when I submitted my work order, it moves automatically to what I call quality control, our QC status, and we are moving through this workflow wonderfully. Now, QC can exist in the work in progress column thanks to the RO labels being customizable. In the past, we were mapping Tekmetric's old balance due to that, and it confused a lot of people when it went to the completed column because QC, it isn't necessarily done. And I do like keeping that cleaner for just when the QC process is complete, but it is up to you. Just to show you exactly what I mean, when you're looking at the RO labels, quality control is, in my case, in work in progress, and my completed status for ready, that's when the balance is truly due for me. So I think that is a fine integration now where with these custom labels, we have a little bit better flexibility on this piece. Now, I'm going to show you the way I move it into that ready status. We're not going to go into the QC sheets right now, although I please investigate the quality control process. We have another course on that as well. But I'm going to click on ready. Let's say this is all set. And I'm going to do this 5-minute downtick timer on here. This is very clear and precise call to action, very similar to our waiting on approval. I invite the customer to give me a call with a text message on this. That message in this particular setup right now says, Joe, your vehicle is completed and ready to be picked up. Let us know if you need a ride. We're happy to pick you up. Right? This is, we want to stage that phone call. And what I do as a service advisor in Autoflow, when the customer has given me the information on when they plan to come and get this vehicle or when we need to get them, I like to make sure I update this. And for whatever reason, it's always, you know, the next day that they're going to come for their car, even though it was a really big, important job. That's fine. We have ready one day. That'll get orange and turn red again when this timer gets down to 0. We know we need to recontact that customer and say, hey, what's up? We still have your car all set, ready to go. Are you sure you don't need a ride? And then we'll get that figured out later on. That is it. Now, once we take payment, you'll see that we're in that ready status. It moved over to the completed column for us. We can go and we can do whatever we need to do on this ticket. In this case, we're going to take cash money. We're going to get paid. We could be doing the text to pay transaction from Autoflow. There's lots of great advantages to that as well. But I'm going to hit pay, I'm going to hit post, and that drops off from our board here. It drops off from our board here. And folks, we have just completed an end-to-end ticket walkthrough with the Tekmetric and Autoflow integration. Thanks for watching this video. There is plenty more to show you, and I know what we just did was a whirlwind tour through a ticket process. but there are fine details which we would love to go over with you. If you need assistance, you can reach out to support@autoflow.com. Our team is ready to answer your questions, and if you need to connect with our training team, we are well-versed in Tekmetric. We are obviously well-versed in Autoflow, and we exist here to make sure you are successful with these applications. It is a world-class integration. We absolutely love what our partners at Tekmetric are doing and how well our systems can work together. I believe that this will benefit your shop greatly. I just ask you to give it a chance, give it a try, and let us give you a hand. We'll talk soon.